Namaste. Welcome and greetings. I am Magick. It's gonna stop a virus. No. This
Got y'all listening now. Some witchcraft for that ass. Too late to turn away. Abracadabra and all that good shit. Yo. Hocus pocus, got you focused on my rhyme. Simply easy, now I'm eating couch potatoes, I recline. No, I'm joking as I'm toking power puffs at Pokeos. Till my town and villa filled with ganja smoke, you know the dope. Coming out my pipes, talking about the bones in my throat. With the mic, I'm casting curses every night, you know the scope. Got my spells handy. You may call it the phone, but when I'm done reciting, you'll give me the keys to the throne. Then I take my keys to go home. Didn't say I was done. While rush to end it all, it feels amazing to have won. I'm not planning to ball, but why not take the chance to stunt? No, I don't need it all. Can think for thing I don't want. Do I worship the sun, or sold my soul for the tongue, or dead since I was young, or got some voodoo done?
Namaste, namastizzle, peace, and many blessings. Shalom. What's up, people? What's going on? Happy Friday. Hopefully, you had a great week and you're having a great holiday season. I am the one and only Magick. What's going on, people? Before I even begin anything at all, I want to let y'all know that Generation X is now the meemaws and pawpaws. Okay, they're the older people now. They're the elderly people now, right? This has got to be one of the funniest things that I have ever seen in my life. Imagine you having to explain to your friends that you got your ass whipped by old people. Just imagine that. Give me 1 second here. I know I saved it here. Yeah. Check this out. This is the funniest shit. I done watched it at least 20 times today alone. I got Granny. Look at the footwork. Check out the footwork. Check out the footwork. The funniest
there was
thing
a girl.
I had ever seen since I've been on here. That is the funniest thing. What's up, Mine? How you doing, man? Or is it, sir? What's going on? That has to be the funniest thing I have seen in a very long time. So yeah. Again, what's up, Delroy Johnson? I have not seen you in a minute. What's up, sir? How are you? Weird things with your name. Yeah, we're still I think we're post retrograde right now. So stuff still is happening with electronics. I can't get one of my cameras to act right today. This is why I look like this. This is why my background's not here. So yeah, that shadow phase. This is the post shadow phase. The post shadow phase and the pre shadow phase. These are the worst times for the electronics. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. All right, some news. Okay. One of the things that I really, really wanted to be wrong about is when I said post shadow. Okay, yeah, what's up, astrology villain? It's the worst time. It's the absolute worst time, in my opinion. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. one of the things that I really, really wanted to be wrong about was us as a people. When we join in with things, we put our full support behind it. And once we put our full behind it, it gives it power. It gives it energy. You know what I'm saying? So I really wanted us to be, I mean, I'm just one person, but there were many people out here who were saying that going along or going with the flow or going along with this agenda here, as far as an alternative lifestyle, let's put it that way. We said that, or I said anyway, I never wanted to be more wrong, but I said once we put our support behind that, let me quiet this dude down real quick. Give me 1 second, y'all. Somebody's trying to talk to me. All right. Let me just mute him real quick. All right. Alternative lifestyles. All right. I said once we put our energy and backing behind that, once we put our support, I said it would be a Trojan horse and that other things will follow. Okay. Like I said, I never wanted to be more wrong about that. And I was also right. Okay. I want you to listen to this very carefully. All right. Very carefully. You'll see what I'm talking about when I say this.
If your kids are watching, maybe pause this for a moment. This man raped a 3-month-old who required reconstructive surgery, and he drowned a 3-year-old. And he was still a teenager when this happened, but he was put in prison. Then while in prison, the British Columbia government paid for him to get breast implants. And because he's now identifying as a woman, they transferred him into the Fraser Valley Penitentiary for Women. And in our female prisons in Canada, there are units with moms with their small children. Up to a certain age, they can have their kids with them. So they have this separate unit. This man was placed right next door to that unit. And while he's been there, he has, of course, assaulted a woman.
Is he still there?
Yeah. So I went to Victoria, the capital, to meet with the Minister of Education about this. He wouldn't meet with me. I just say, I'm going to go. We'll see what happens. I went to meet him. He wouldn't meet. I actually walked into his campaign headquarters. I stumbled upon it. There were all these new Democratic Party members. It's called the NDP. They're far left party, and they are our ruling party in BC. And I talked to this woman at the desk. Her name's Grace Lohr. I didn't know who she was. I just walked in and started telling her all about this child abuse, of child transition, all about puberty blockers, everything. And for about 10 minutes, everyone in this building fell quiet, and they listened to me basically give this 10-minute speech to this woman listening to me at the desk. I told her all about the child abuse, and then I got to this women in prison story, and I told her about this man. His name's Adam Labukin. I told her exactly what I just told you. And when I was telling that story, another politician shut me down. She said I was making them feel unsafe. And I was telling this story as calm as can be, like I always do. But that made them feel unsafe. 3 times I was told that, and they kicked me out.
This was your elected official.
Yes. I came back the next morning to try to meet with the Minister of Education again. They locked me out. I have subsequently told this story online in great detail. Grace Lohr, that woman I was speaking to, who became the Minister of Children and Family Development. What I didn't know at the time I first spoke with her, she was a former gender studies professor at the University of Victoria. So when I told this story on Twitter and I tagged her, she responded, proudly stating simply, I stand with the transgender community. And this is going on in several U.S. states.
Okay. Nothing else needs to be said about that. All right. Nothing else needs to be said. They are like a protected class now. So it is what it is. We put our energy and our support behind it. So now it is what it is. You know. If you are, by the way, I intended this to be a question and answer session. So if you have any questions for me, please go ahead and put them in the chat. The Book of Knowledge is another book that I wanted to bring to y'all's attention because it does give you the tools. It gives you instructions on how to work with certain chakra points. All right. It's called the Book of Knowledge. It's not very well known. I thought I had it up. I guess I didn't. All right. Let's see. Just 1 second. Like I said, if you have any questions for me, just put them in the chat box. What's up, Mooney? What's up? Glad you could make it. Peace, 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 peace. And yes, that is very disgusting. You know what I'm saying? What 5-month-old has even developed to have some kind of arousal from a grown man? You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, though. But like I said, Trojan horse. Okay. Trojan horse. All right. So the Book of Knowledge. I'm trying to open it here. Electronics still acting a fool. Ay, 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 ay. I will be putting this in Patreon. If you're a member of my Patreon, I do put a whole bunch of stuff in there. You know, peace and blessings, Legacy Sigma. How are you, sir? What's going on? It is Friday. We did make it to the weekend. Hopefully, none of y'all went crazy during the week with all the stuff that's going on. That's continuing to go on. But like I said, that old couple. The caption for that is a couple confronted. It was a road rage incident. That couple confronted this elderly couple, got out their cars, and it just extremely backfired on them. Couple whipped their ass. That old couple. Just one moment. It's coming up. Okay, here we go. Finally came up. All right. It's called the Book of Knowledge. Let me share my screen real quick. So as soon as I can stop acting a fool, then yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. Jeez. All right, so this book, it goes, at first it says that remote viewing, televisualization is one of the most powerful skills you can learn. And then it gives you techniques in order to accomplish remote viewing. Just like any other skill, clear audience, clear whatever, can be actually learned. You know what I'm saying? So it goes through each chakra point. It goes through each one and tells you how to work with each one: the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. Okay. Again, I will be putting out, I might make this one for free. It goes into breathing energy, just, going deeper meditation, quiet mind meditation. It's a really good book. Okay. Like it says here, all the sources and techniques in this book have been proven through practice. They're not just theoretical. All right. Just like I say all the time, until you practice, I'm just sitting up here talking and we're just having a conversation till you actually practice these techniques. Okay. And stuff that I, talk about on this channel. Deactivated my social media for winter solstice. You are my news. Oh, okay. Yes, the big winter solstice is upon us. Yes. Can someone block you from astral traveling? How best to remove that blockage if that was possible? I would have to say that only pretty much an adept can do that. Someone who actually knows how to block you. It's like someone who can remote view you, like I was just talking about, remote view you and know how to like stop you from doing stuff. That's an actual adept. That's somebody with some serious skills that can be able to do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it can happen. I think it's a rare thing that happens. But just like anything, you would need to clean up your astral travel. You would know how to block that person, return the sender. There's a couple different ways. So it's not a one cure for all for that, but you have to have some kind of powerful enemy for someone to even want to do that. Why would someone want to do that to you? You see what I mean? What's up, Tosh? How is Chicago? It's the last couple of days has been winter weather here in Texas. Winter has come to Texas, and cloudy, rainy, cold, dreary. What's up? Peace. Katrina, what's the deal? My mother had a friend that passed away. She keeps coming to tell me that I need to marry her nephew. I've been knowing him for years. He is Nation of Islam. He is very serious. How would I approach? Oh, how would you approach that one? Sheesh. You get how you gonna approach is you got to be ready for that because they got rules in the Nation of Islam. They for one thing, they for and this is just me, but their rules are kind of strict. The women have to cover up. They don't believe in showing yourselves. They believe in you being modest. No pork. Okay, strict diet. The man is the leader of the house. You know what I mean? You gotta stick to some rules if you're gonna actually be with someone from the Nation of Islam. That's what you gotta ask yourself. Are you ready for that kind of commitment? It's not a traditional kind of thing with the Nation of Islam. Okay, so in addition to is he a good man, is he a good provider, you gotta oh yeah. You gotta follow some rules. That's all I can tell you on that one. Chicago's miserable as it started snowing. He's such a stick in the mud and always, yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, they strict about their religion. They pray 5 times a day. You know, prayer time is serious. Strict diet, no pork. I'm not sure if you eat pork, but they're strict about everything they do. You got to go to the mosque on Sundays. When you walk, I always found this really interesting. If y'all walking together, the woman has to she has to walk 3 paces behind. I never understood that one. You know what I mean? But it's a strict thing, you know. So if you're ready for that, then yeah. But I would say, do your research on the nation, because you might not be ready for all that. Now my mother is saying I need to marry him. Like I said, you're gonna have to do some research on the nation. The nation is strict with their women. They're very strict. Started last week and kept going. Damn. Y'all in a snowstorm then, huh? I didn't tell her. Okay, well, that's a commitment there. I ain't gonna lie, that is a commitment. They're strict about everything. Watch for reference. For reference, the only thing I can tell you, Magick and the Nation of Islam probably is not going to mix. Watch Bobby's lecture. Bobby Speaks to the Nation of Islam. Watch Malcolm X by Spike Lee. I'm just giving you some references, some reference points. If you know anything about the Nation of Islam, then I don't know where you are as far as anything, to be quite honest. So you'll have to do your homework on the Nation of Islam. You'll have to do your homework. You're a witch. Yeah, that ain't. That's like water and oil, in my opinion. That's like water and oil. I wouldn't. I ain't gonna say I wouldn't. I can't give you any advice. All I'm gonna say is that they don't mix. I don't think they believe in witchcraft and astrology. I don't think they really go off of any of that. They go by the traditional teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Louis Farrakhan. You know, so if that's your thing, what are some books that actually explain about Exus from an indigenous understanding? Look at the books by what's his name? It came out of left field with that one. Um, Kimbanda books. There's a book that I showed y'all not too long ago that explains Exu. It's the name that I can't remember at this very moment. I'm trying to think. I can't remember his name. His name is like Nicolaj or something like that. Jeez. Because remember, Exu is a legion. Exu, there's a couple different Exus. You can go to Carlos Montenegro books. But the one I'm gonna is there's a book on Pambajira that also explains the Exus. Because remember, Exu is the gatekeeper. You can't call any of the Pambajiras without calling on Exu first. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find the book, so give me a second. Just give me a second. You laughing? I'm serious though. I don't think that's gonna mix. I really, I don't want to steer you wrong on this one because you did ask my opinion, but yeah, you're a witch, but I don't, I don't think that's gonna mix. I don't. Depends on how open-minded. Yeah, exactly. Like it really depends on how open-minded he is. As far as you being a witch, that's I keep saying because like I said, they're very strict about their women. Their women need to be modest. And yeah, you might not have a good time. I'm not gonna lie to you. You might not have a good time. Nicolaj, all right, there's two books that I can show you. Okay. One is called Exu and Pambajira. The other one's called Pambajira and the Kimbanda Bumba Zila. Okay. All right. This one, I think this one might be in Portuguese. You might not want this one. Let's see. This one, yeah, this is the one I was talking about right here. I'm not sure if you understand Spanish or Portuguese, but look how many Exus there are. You know what I mean? There's a lot of them. Okay. Just like there's a lot of Pambajeros. Yeah, this is another language. You ain't gonna want this one. All right, but there's another one that's in English. Let me stop sharing for a second. And this one goes into depth about Pambajira and Exu. This one really goes into depth. This is one of my favorite books on Pambajira. All right. But there's a lot of reading that has to be done here. All right. Because they give a lot of information, just a whole bunch of information. And a lot of the information that came from this book is I put it to use when I was fucking with Kimbanda, Exu, Pambajira. It's very fascinating. These spirits are Kimbanda's a very fascinating ATR, in my opinion. Very fascinating. I'm going through it really quick. Let's see. All right. So just to give you an idea, here's all the Pambajiras here. Okay. And there's one of the Exu farmers. All right. But it's a lot. It's a whole lot. Like I said, they are legion. There's a lot of them. If you want this book, I can share it with you. You know, so I'm such a nice guy. But I find Pombagira to be a fascinating spirit or fascinating legion. All of them, every single one that I've called on have come to me, and very sexual energy there. You know what I'm saying? So I did a video, as a matter of fact, on just do a search on the channel, Pombagira, and I did a video on my experience with her. Every single time showed up just is really otherworldly about this particular spirit. I won't go into depth here because, of course, I'm short on time. But yeah, have a fun time. Happy Friday. Is that the doctor? What's up? If that's you, you're the only one I know uses the avatar, so it got to be you. If he was saved by the nation, that's a wrap. You got that book? Okay. Yeah. That book is pretty good. If you the question that you asked me, go to that book. Just wondering why they coming to me with this. They believe in marriage, though. They're real traditional. So it's not a bad thing. It really isn't. It's not a bad thing. But if you're the kind of woman, I'm not saying you are. If you're the kind of woman who dresses a certain way, or and like I say, I'm not saying you are, but you can't show yourself. I know some of them are so strict, they cover their entire bodies. They look like Arabs, which is ridiculous to me because Arabs dress that way for climate reasons and religious purposes and their culture. You know what I'm saying? You see some of the fucking retards in Philadelphia, you be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to disrespect them, but I still think it's retarded for them to follow another culture like that. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I knew this one chick, she was so into this religion, you couldn't tell what she looked like. She even had gloves on her hands. She walked around with gloves. All you could see was her eyes. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what the hell? Anyway. What's up? Stay high. What's going on? What's the deal? I don't go into my spirituality with anyone, but I do listen to Louis Farrakhan. When I was trying to get in back in the 90s, I listened to a lot of Louis Farrakhan. One of his best lectures that I thought that really scared me, actually, because I thought something was coming, was called The Shock of the Hour. Find that one. And I really believed the hype of the nation back then. I've grown since then, but maybe that's your thing, maybe not. For some people, that's their path. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. It is you. All right. What's up? When did you know when your magic took off? Like, what was the ritual system that you seen your first real success from? The very first spell that I attempted was a money spell. I know I've said this before, but let me say it again. The very first spell was a money spell, and it involved a green candle with 10 dimes, 10 silver dimes. And I had to concentrate, and I had to say this incantation. And I did it. Coincidentally, my wife walked in on me, and it was my very first spell. But it was successful because about a week later, I had a windfall money coming that I was not expecting. And we had a lot of money that month. And that's what showed me this was the real deal. You know what I mean? That's what I was like, okay, this is what I want. I want to be able to take charge of my life. I want to be like the craft. You want that book? All right. Email me. Y'all should have my email by now. Email me. I'll send it to you. Or if you're on Patreon, let me know who you are and I'll hook you up. Okay. Here's a trick too. There's another trick that I find might be very successful. All right. If you do this, Try this. Okay. Psychologists have found that writing about your future self in the past tense can trick your brain into treating it like a memory. I began journaling as if my goals had already happened last week. My subconscious couldn't tell the difference, and my present started shifting to match the memories I created. All right. Um, I don't want to read this whole thing. Why don't I? Psychologists found that writing. Okay. Researchers studying mental time travel discovered something fascinating. When you write about your future goals, if they already happened, the brain activates the same neural networks used for recalling real memories. This process strengthens belief, confidence, and emotional alignment with the desired outcome. The subconscious mind struggles to separate vividly imagined past tense events from actual experiences, which is why this technique influences behavior and motivation so strongly. And this method works because the brain relies on memory-based prediction. When it believes something has already occurred, it begins adjusting decisions, habits, and emotional responses to stay consistent with that internal story. Journal entries written in past tense create a sense of familiarity and reduce the psychological resistance that normally blocks long-term goals. The mind feels safer pursuing something it already recognizes. Psychologists call this self-directed neural priming. You're not manifesting through magic. You are conditioning your brain to respond as if your goals are part of its known history. This reduces doubt, increases clarity, and activates the circuits responsible for planning and follow through. Over time, actions shift to match the identity you described in your journal. Your brain builds your reality around the stories you repeat. When you write your future as a memory, you train your mind to move it forward with confidence. Okay? Try that, y'all. See if that works. You know what I mean? See if that works. What do you feel is about crystals? They are millions of years old. They do work. Okay. Keep one, I keep several with me at all times, especially hematite, especially quartz crystal. Okay. I keep hematite in my house and keep quartz crystal in my house. All right. Crystal magic is powerful. It works. Okay. Creating a circle. Now, normally you're supposed to create a circle of chalk or salt. Creating a circle of crystal will work even better because you're working with energy that are millions of years old. Okay. They come from the earth. All right. Hope that answers your question. I'm a big proponent of using crystals in magic. First spell, great man. Yeah, I'm always going to remember that. Always. For one thing, my wife walked in on me. I was in the garage and she looked and she then backed away. Never thought the very first spell attempt she would catch me, but she did. So what's up, Ultra Instinct? I was wondering if you was gonna make it here. What's going on? Dig Future Self and Retrocausality. Indeed. There's books out there. I mean, this is why psychology is such a big science, and this is why mind control is such a big thing because it works. They have studied this in universities, y'all. They have studied this stuff, and training your minds in certain ways works. Okay, it's one of the keys of manifesting in magic. All right, and this is why I say belief and faith in your magic can only help manifest better. All right, you on Patreon? Okay. Pambajira and the Book of Knowledge. All right, so I'll put both of those on Patreon. All right. Peace, Michael Surratt. How you doing, sir? Does your wife do magic? No, she does not. She was on here last year. This is the last time she came on here. She's now studying. She's going for another degree, horticulture, and so she can't join me. But no, she doesn't. She doesn't do magic. She leaves me to it. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. We make it work. If you had an antique Ouija board, would you experiment? Hell no. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Them things are wicked, man. Them things, any old wayward spirit can travel through on a Ouija board. And this is why they sell them everywhere. They sell them in toy stores. You know, that's a conduit for any old wayward spirit. And so, no. There's the classic movie called Witchboard. Check that one out if you can. It's called Witchboard. If you go on, I can't get the website out. They might catch or ding me for it. But there's a site that I mean, there's a lot of streaming sites where you can get classic movies on. Probably Amazon Prime if you're on there. But no, not me. Certain stuff I don't mess with. I don't mess with. It's not that I'm afraid. I just don't want the effects. I just no. Certain things I don't mess with. All these years later, a Ouija board, and I don't like cemeteries. I just don't like the feel of cemeteries. Peace, Emma Hotep. What's the deal? No. Oh, okay. You're answering about the Ouija board. All right. So the fuckery continues with that alphabet group. All right. So they say now you need to ask your baby's permission before changing a diaper, says sexual consent expert. Funny, Dora Pauls. I'm so glad I grew up when I did, man. Wow. Thanks for the answer. Oh, absolutely. No problem. Right. Exactly. What the fuck? Katrina hooks me up with if this clip doesn't convince you that we're in the spiritual world, I don't think nothing else will. Shout out to Katrina for this one. Shout out to Katrina. Check this out. Look at this.
This one's in Thailand.
I've been to Thailand before.
Have you?
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful.
What comes with the island?
There's a small villa here. You could practically build what you want.
There's building space.
Yeah, there's.
Do the islands come with the children, or the children imported after?
This island does have a small school. There are children.
Okay, so I don't know if that's just
Yeah.
What countries are near to abduct them from?
Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam,
Philippines.
The Philippines.
Of course.
The Filipinos, you know, if they're not being a nurse, they're being your servant. Okay, so
True.
yeah. So
What age ranges?
below 10, I don't really. This one's in Thailand.
Yeah. All right. Demons are being raised. I talked about this before. Yeah. Yeah, that was serious. Yep. That was serious. Yep. Everything I show you has been serious. I'm not joking about none of this stuff. Did you see the show Pluribus by the filmmaker of Breaking Bad, Filiaco? I never even heard of that one. What's up, Lloyd? Pluribus? Let me write that down. Let me grab a index card and write that down. Pluribus? Where can I find that, sir? Let me know where I can find that one. If you want, okay, going back to when I first got into the occult, one of the books I got, Raymond Bookland's book on witchcraft. That was one of the very first books. There was another book, I don't remember the title, but it had an ordinary looking white woman on it. She was holding, I think, a book or something. She looked like a average working woman. You know, dark hair. It was about witchcraft. But remember, when I first got into the craft movie, that's That was it for me. I wanted to do that. So, but one of the other books I told y'all about this one before. It's called The Cosmic Trigger by Robert Anton Wilson. All right, Final Secret of the Illuminati. This book was revealing so much, and it was ahead of its time. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, he got locked up for this. All right. He was actually experimenting under controlled conditions. He was doing experiments with LSD. All right. And seeing the effects on the mind and how you travel and this, in the control, not just all willy-nilly or loosey-goosey or whatever, but under a controlled environment. And he was experimenting with the effects on the mind. You know what I'm saying? Him and his teacher, Robert Leary. No, I'm sorry, Timothy Leary. Robert Anton Wilson, Timothy Leary. Timothy Leary got locked up quite a few times. Google this information on these two people. All right. If you have time, Google. They used to lock people up for writing certain books. Okay. And that used to fascinate me. All right. Not really occult. Not really. I would call it more, how do they label it? They label it psychology and social philosophy. You know what I mean? This it deals with the process of deliberately induced brain change. And the way they used to do that, like I said, under controlled conditions, LSD. All right. Reminds me of another movie I meant to mention to y'all before called Altered States. All right. Remember I said last live, when you know who you are and when you know who they are, so to speak, you fear nobody. Look at Altered States. All right. It took them back to their origins. It was a scientist doing some experiments. All right. These old 80s books or movies, movies, they actually show you stuff. All right. Unfiltered. I don't have Apple TV, Lloyd. I'll find it some kind of way though. But you got me interested on that one because I was a big fan of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Bro, I did self-induced LSD trips on me and my friends. Did you really? Wow. I bet you got some stories to tell and you probably had some out-of-body experiences, didn't you? I'm willing to bet you did. Okay, that's what it does. I mean, let's see. What else did we need to go over? The woman who wore blackface for Halloween, she got demonetized from YouTube. Do we care? Yeah, we do. We kind of do.
I have officially been demonetized on YouTube, which was my sole form of income. Aside from a few tiny little outlets here and there, YouTube was my main moneymaker. And I'm kind of stupid. I don't have a 5-year plan. I don't plan ahead. I live in the moment. I put it all out there. I'm an open book. I live with my heart on my sleeve. If I say something, I mean it. I couldn't censor myself. I refused to censor myself. It's just impossible. I really tried. I really tried my best. Believe it or not, what you saw on YouTube was the vanilla me. It was like the vanilla of the vanilla.
Racist.
I tried my best, but they want to keep a real down, okay? And that's what they're doing. I have officially been demonetized on YouTube.
They want to keep a real bitch down. That's what she said. I suppose that I had met myself. And that reminds me of the movie Lucy. Wow. Here's a clip of someone I want to share a story with y'all. Let me go to this first. Give me a second here. Don't forget today, green, white, pink. These are the colors for today. The love colors, the love goddesses. All right, check this out. This woman actually So that would come up.
Good, thank you.
That's what you were doing?
I was giving the offering to the Crossroads Spirits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You too.
So they always want to know what you're doing. So here's something I did. I got caught by a cop. I was working with Ogun of the Voodoo Pantheon. And what I like to do when I work with the ATRs is take the offerings to a crossroads or cemetery or whatever. So I was working with Ogun, and I took his offerings to a train tracks because that's where you're supposed to leave his offerings. I always put them in a plastic bag. I always take my altar offerings in a brown paper sack and leave them at an crossroads or train tracks. And since I know that people tend to be nosy, I parked my car in a way where it looked like I was just stuck there, right? As I'm placing my stuff down by the tire, I said, I'm gonna be witty about this. A cop pulls up. He said, "You need help?" No, I think I thought I blew my tire out though. He's like, okay, and rolled out. You know what I'm saying? So every time I go to a crossroads or anything like that, I make it seem like something's wrong with my car. Just a tip in case any of you decide to do that. That's what I always did. So if anyone comes along, I'm acting like something's wrong with my tire, or I'm checking my tire, put my hazard lights on my car, and that's the way I pull that off. When I went at night, the time I was working with Baron Samedi, it was no one around, so I ain't had nothing to worry about. Heart pounding, black as shit outside. It's really dark. Just me and the sounds of nature and shit. You know what I mean? Okay, so another rare lecture by Bobby Hemmett, y'all. This is a very early and rare lecture by Bobby Hemmett. Listen to what he says here.
He got Greek myths, Hebrew myths, which show a lot of his mythology being Hebrew was before it became a religion. He also has King Jesus showing that kind of stuff. He took some of this particular stuff and made it into religion. But in his James Report in Greek myths on page 261, he goes into Titan, which is the Titans. Titan in the beginning, the great mother. Titan is defeated, and then Titan comes back. Titan again comes back as the youngest son of Gaia. So we're talking about a futuristic son in the future, but it's also talking about this futuristic son. Titan is talking about the great mother. You're talking about a form of melanin, that cosmic pre-primal world. You get this stuff? So he comes back midway point and frightens these particular motherfuckers in heaven so bad until they run to Egypt and hide out and become animals. Hide. But anyway, they subdue him with a lifeboat, and he's trapped under Mount Etna, the deepest part of the earth, and the earthquakes is supposed to be this particular energy. All this is also mythology trying to explain this particular stuff on a higher level, but you're supposed to be advanced enough until when you get to this level, this is how you have to explain things so it can flow a certain way. So the Typhonian power is also the Bobby power. The Bobby power is also the Leviathan. Leviathan is also Tiamat's power. So when you get the book Babylonian Genesis by Alexander Hale, he'll show you all the Tiamat. She was transformed into human being, but at the end he'll show you the connection with Tiamat and Leviathan in the Holy Bible. So all that's in the stuff, and all that is talking about the same damn power. More than mythical figures, really, it's talking about your soul and your nature. You get this? Yeah. Even you go back and get your King Arthur, because also King Arthur is called Ortherus, which is a form of Sirius in Greek myths and also the serious mystery. So your King Arthur, which is also Osiris, which you get the Excalibur and all that. That's why Merlin came on not too long ago and all that kind of thing. Merlin represents the Moor and all, and unto Houthi. And also Arthur represents Osiris that ends up dying, but Parzival comes and get the grail, which represents harvest. Also Hamlet. Hamlet is Heru. Do you know in some of the Heru drama, when Osiris dies, Osiris comes to Horus as a ghost or a spirit and tells him that he has to defeat his uncle? Well, that same story is the Hamlet thing with Mel Gibson and created again recently with Kenneth Branagh. That's the horror story written by Shakespeare. So you know if a motherfucker like Shakespeare to write that and Othello, which is also a version of the Samson story, and write all that shit in tandem with the Bible, motherfucker was a dangerous person. You see what I'm saying? That's why he is the quintessential author of literature for white people. That is their Tahuti. The Greeks transferred all these ancient myths into European doggone structure of literature. You get it?
Now, did y'all hear that? Did I hear what he said? They took all our stuff and made it into European mythologies. Now, isn't that something? The only way you're going to figure this out is if you read and research and cross-reference. That's the only way you're going to figure this out, okay? Bobby's a master researcher. He said it several times, all right? You will start to pick up stuff, and stuff will start to make sense to you, all right? Because Tiamat, or however you say it, Tiamat is mentioned in the Bible. There's a couple different demons that's mentioned in the Bible. You know, if you go off the Bible or whatever, you know, it depends on where you at in your learning. Okay. Yeah, I like to talk dirty behind ice cream trucks. Yeah, if it's not something so crazy. Peace, Brother Moore. What's up? Catch the replay. That's the thing. That's the beauty about YouTube. You can replay it. When you pass away, how do you not reincarnate and come back to Earth after death? Well, I don't know. I haven't died and came back, so I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. I'm so sorry. My answer to that, though, is to raise your vibrations to a point, and I know it gets redundant me constantly saying that, but still, it applies. Raise your vibration to a point where you know what's coming. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking, you vibrate beyond this mundane bullshit. So where you know, when it's your time, you're not afraid to let go and go into other realms. If you look at the series Lost was deep, especially that last season. I don't care what anybody says about Lost was deep. All right. It showed that they hint at it so many times. You know what I mean? They hint at it so many times. And Pascal Beverly Randolph, Death, the Disembodiment of Man. Okay. Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg, Patrick Swayze. All right. That's my answer. All right. You want to go higher. You don't want to. If you a stupid motherfucker here now, you're going to be a stupid motherfucker when you pass away. Let me say it that way. I'm being silly now. I'm in a silly mood though, right? I'm really, you caught me on a cynical day, but you got to look at the master teachers and what they say about it, all right? Look at Bobby, like the doctor just said. Bobby makes you think. Bobby makes you just really think, and he got so many videos out there. I try to put as many as I can on Patreon. I try to put Azazel Bay in there. These are my two goats as far as the occult is concerned. Bobby, Azazel. Honorable mention, C. Freeman L. Okay? Look at the master teachers and what they say about it. Pascal Beverly Randolph gets an honorable mention as well. But his information is so scarce. You know what I mean? They really try to bury his shit and take it for themselves and rebrand it, repackage, and resell it to you. Belial is one. Yes, that's another one that's mentioned in the Bible. Yep, that's another one that's mentioned in the Bible. Exactly. There are some Goetia demons listed in the Bible. Okay. Where was I going with that? Mythologies. Mythologies are important. There's some very good information when you study mythology. And just like he said, Shakespeare, I noticed they don't teach this in the curriculums anymore. In the when I was growing up, it was required reading. I noticed this is not part of the school's curriculum anymore. They don't teach this stuff anymore. Sad, in my opinion. Sad. But mythologies are important too. Okay. You will find that if you look at Sumerian mythologies, the Epic of Gilgamesh is really what they're talking about in Noah. Speaking of which, the movie was deep. They showed fallen angels in Noah. Fallen fucking angels, watchers in Noah. Okay. I tried the other day to watch Exodus, Gods, and Kings. I tried. I gotta try again. I know it's us and I know it's our shit, but they insist on putting Caucasian actors and actresses in the roles that they know is not them. They know it's not them, and they still put Caucasians in these roles, and it still pisses me off. And it's like, come on, why? What are y'all doing? Like, seriously? What's up, Empress KK? Why are you laughing? What'd I say? What else? Any other questions? I wasn't trying to be funny. I like to talk dirty behind trucks. One second, y'all. I'm gonna let this let me get it. That wasn't the only part of the lecture I wanted y'all to hear. So let me, before the hour runs out.
Let's go on.
Let's go on with Bobby.
This is very important. Now, we get to the critical section of the actual lecture. This is some of the very important stuff that we must deal with at this particular time. So now, let's deal with this. Got a half an hour on this. Oh, good. Let's deal with this particular part right now. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. Because of what we're going to do. But after we deal with this particular part, we're going to go into an elaborate question and answer. You see what I'm saying? Elaborate question and answer. So let's get this. This is the most important part. Where it don't take no money, it don't take nobody to come selling you no magnets and no crystals and all that kind of shit. But you go by yourself. Let me just put energy and all that kind of thing. I'm not trying to belittle that type of stuff. But what we're talking about here, it don't take nothing, but you just understanding the information in your head. Everything is in your damn brain. This is all right here. It's the Freddy Krueger shit.
Freddy Krueger shit.
Right up here. It's the way we think has everything to do with everything. And every motherfucking thing is everything too. You see? Now, in ancient Kemet, it's called Captain, which is the shadow, which is another level. Anytime you see the word shadow, also in Jung psychology, you hear that shit shadow. That's Captain, a Kabbalah, that's ancient Kemet. In Chaldea, it's called Hadit, or Kadit. In Kadit later on is also Kadif in Arabia, and later on Hadith, which they lost the real thing of what that was is talking about an energy, and they give you a spiritual saying, a spiritual teaching of the hadith. That's melody. You see what I'm saying? With your whole Kabbalah thing, all that is melody. Now, Captain, which is the H.P. Lovecraft mythos, is the primal creative energy Hadit or Kadit abides in cold waves. This is very interesting. We're going to get into this right now. I'm going to tell you to access some things. Your last X-File movie, they ended up in the snow. Very key. get the movie The Saint also too. And you're gonna get another movie called Smiller's, S-M-I-L-A, Smiller's Sense of Snow. Smiller's Sense of Snow came out last year. White Hope played in Sabrina and also in Legends of the Fall. What's that whole name? What's that woman named Smiller's Sense of Snow? Can't think her name. Anyway,
Winona Ryder?
I can't think. No, it's not that. Anyway, this cold waste, which is named after Caddis, signifies dimensions beyond the grasp of both the walking and dreaming states. Now, Caddis is the true mothership, the home of the gods. I'm gonna tell you what this is in a minute. Caddis Ring is the abominable plateau of land. Your Dalai Lama and all that was supposed to be a part of that, but that motherfucker you see walking around is a fake cracker that they done hooked up and shit, you know, walking around here and all. They got no spiritual shit, you know, but see, they got, now they trying to befriend every little spiritual man on the planet that they can think can save their ass. So everything that I say to that, fuck to that. The shit is coming from here. They trying to go to that old shit, but the shit is coming from right in their backyard. Motherfucking nigga from right here, Jericho, motherfucking Swiss Malt Nickel Bull King, motherfucking right here, goddamn, old 800 will prove it in the They had to extrapolate from Africa to bring over here to make a new man. They say, ain't all this nigga say be a new man. They ain't but one new motherfucker on the planet. Caribbean, because they got a link into Africa. If you go and look at Caribbean, you can still see a form of that African thing. That's why Garvey was over here. Now, we're not saying that Africa is the snake, but the head is right here. There's a new man. There's only one new person made new on the in the world. Can't be the Native American. They wipe them motherfuckers out. You see. Plus, they wasn't the original shit no way. You can make new is make totally new from the beginning to the end. We're the only new people that exist. You know what I'm saying? This is a new damn creature. To this particular day.
He's absolutely correct. You know, they made a new nigga. I mean, who else don't know who they are that just lost in the wilderness? You know what I mean? What if I told you this was actually Egypt? What if would you believe me if I said that? You know what I mean? Bobby just speaks some shit. You know, if you want to get your day started, put on some Bobby Hemming in the morning. Bobby will have you rolling and thinking at the same time, and your ass will wake up. You know what I mean? Another book that's not well known, and that could be the reason that when you are really tapped into this energy, when you're tapped into magical energy or occult energy, it manifests when you're really tapped in and not just playing or faking it till you make it, which is stupid. You know what I mean? When you're really tapped in, it could be because you're in actual Egypt here, right here. What you think the Grand Canyon, parts of the Grand Canyon is closed off. Ask yourself why. You know what I mean? This book right here. The Australian occultist called Carl Nagel, The Black Grimoire of Satanic Rulerships and Principalities. And what he does in this book is any city that you're in, he got demons and deities to work in that specific city. Somebody give me a deity. Not a deity, a city. Anything on the new Avengers movie? I haven't watched any Avengers movie since whatever that last one was where everybody died. That's the last time I watched it. I got burnt out on Avengers movies. I was like, you know what, fuck it. Yeah, yes, exactly. Shout out to Bobby. Exactly. My first spell's a spell, Bobby. That's what I'm saying. Bobby gives out so much shit, y'all. Especially when he was real dark side. His London lecture in particular. I keep pointing this one out because 3 hours and he giving out nothing but rituals. Simple ass fucking rituals, especially that Urzuli big money ritual. Okay. He did one where he's in a Lakshmi shrine. You know what I mean? Bobby worked with everybody. Okay. And so there's a lot of people who take Bobby's ideas, repackage them, and rebrand them, and then resell them to y'all. You can tell because Bobby's very original. I won't say who I'm talking about. Figure it out. So, Phoenix. All right, Phoenix. Okay, Phoenix. Let's see. Phoenix. I'm sure there's one in there. There's Philadelphia. There's Boston, Pittsburgh. Damn, you're going to have me look, too. Phoenix. There's one in Chicago, Tosh. Minneapolis. Baltimore. Damn, Baltimore? New York. Karaki. St. Louis, Houston, Memphis, Dallas. I know it's Atlanta, New Orleans, Miami, Naples. Damn, Budapest, Copenhagen, Paris. Maybe Phoenix isn't in here. Vancouver, Mexico City, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, Carson City, Las Vegas. See, Prince Damon of Phoenix. Prince Damon of Phoenix. There you go. Prince Damon of Phoenix. He gives you the sigil. Soca Prom. Soca Prom. At 67 years working on Wings. Love the Dark Side lecture. Oh, yeah, the Dark Side one. That's another great one. Detroit. In Seattle, Salt Lake City, Cheyenne, Boise, Detroit. I thought I saw Detroit in here before. Chicago, Nkati. There we go. Prince Demon of Detroit is Nkati. The 50th principal demon of the world is Nkati, Prince Demon of Detroit. When summoned by the magician, he will sometimes appear as a Shillium, sometimes as a marble pillar, usually black, sometimes as a skeleton sitting upon a throne, but he will, at the magician's command, assume the appearance of a man. Detroit. Nkati. Let's see. Trying to put this over so y'all can see it. Nkati. Shit. Sweden? Is Sweden in here? Sweden. I'm not sure Sweden should be. This book is only so big, y'all. If Budapest is in it, you got Athens, Copenhagen, Rome, Paris, England, Belfast, Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow, London, Dublin. I don't see Sweden, sorry. Sydney. 72 Prince Demons. That's interesting. There are 72 demons of the Goetia. All right. Did I just do that? San Francisco. All right. That's the last one. It's 5 o'clock. I thought I saw San Francisco in here already. Milwaukee. All right. You say San Francisco? San Francisco. what I'm going to try and do is find a PDF. I'll find a PDF. I will put it in Patreon. All right. If I can't find San Francisco, so far I don't see it. But he gives you the license to depart. I don't see San Francisco. Sorry. And the sigil, and it gives you that there are like servants under these demons. All right. I don't see San Francisco. Sorry. Okay, but I gotta go. Port-au-Prince. Wow. This is the name of the name of this book is called The Black Grimoire of Satanic Rulerships and Principalities. Carl Nagel. Okay. I mention him a lot. He has a lot of information. Don't forget the secret source. Can you see that? Hermetic Laws and Principles, the secret source. Bobby Hemmett mentions this book a lot, the secret source. Okay. He also mentions Unbreakable. I know it's a DVD. I know. It's a Unbreakable. I say anything by M. Night Shyamalan, see it. Okay. Brooklyn Babylon. That's Black Thought, y'all. Okay. A modern retelling of Solomon and Sheba. Okay. Black Thought. Brooklyn Babylon. All right. That'll do it for today. That will do it for today. Thanks so much, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I always appreciate the interaction and the questions that y'all have given me. Y'all have a safe weekend out there. You stay warm wherever yet. I believe we're going to have a cold winter. Do you see simulations in sigils between cultures all the time? Yep. Black Thought. Yes, I do. The doctor. Yes, I do. I see them all the time. You're absolutely correct. Yeah. Brooklyn Babylon. Okay. My old roommate in Philadelphia put me onto that one. That's Black Thought. Okay. If you like Black Thought, if you watch HBO movies, it took me a minute before I realized Black Thought was in The Deuce. The Deuce is my shit. I've seen The Deuce at least 3 times. Method Man's in it too. And Slim Charles from The Wires is in The Deuce. All right. But anyway, y'all have a great weekend. I'll see y'all Tuesday. All right. I'm the one and only, the only one, Magick LaQuire. And before I go, the newest thing for y'all to be careful of and have discernment is initiations. Being initiated is not a necessity nor a requirement to get into any magical system. Let me say it again. I've said it before. It's not. When Denise Alvarado was on here, we discussed that. That is not a requirement. It's good if that's your path and that's the way you need to learn. It is not a requirement. Okay. There have been so many scams for people out here doing initiations. Just use discernment, please. And just because you become initiated does not give you no immediate access to any kind of power either. You know what I mean? So discernment. I'm the one and only Magick LaQuire. I greet you in peace. Y'all enjoy the weekend. Namaste. Peace, y'all. Oh, I'll show this one more time before I go. I'll try to find a PDF for y'all. Most Carl Nagel books are in PDF form. I'll try to find this one for y'all. Okay. All right, y'all. I really got to go. Peace.